it is write night. I am going to sit down and write something, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I finished my first draft of my first story in my last session, and I haven't decided which story I'm gonna do next. So I've got like a number of outlines and plans. So what I need to do, I think, is go back into that planning document and just decide what I'm gonna do. I feel like I'm gonna go for something short. The story that I've just written ended up being quite longer than I expected it to be. So I fancy trying something like a bit of a different pace. So yeah. I think there are two possible stories that I think I'm gonna go for. One is definitely a short one, like probably a couple of thousand words. The other one is, I kind of planned it to be short to medium, but when I look at the outline that I've written, I can see that it has the potential to be quite a bit longer. What to do? I want to do the longer one, but something is telling me to try and do the shorter one. I can't decide. You know what, I'm gonna go for the shorter one and see how it goes. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. Okay. Let's do this. So I think I've realised why I feel more drawn to writing the longer story that I planned, and that's because when I now look at the outline of the shorter story, there is a clear, concise kind of like plot planned out, but what's still not clear to me when I really think about it is the kind of essence of the main character in the story is like a bit elusive. It's not like fully developed in my mind. Whereas when I think about the longer story and the main character in that story, I have already a very clear idea about who she is. This main character, I'm not quite there yet. And I wonder whether that is a sign to leave this story for now and do the other one. That is probably the right thing to do, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and force this story. So what I'm going to do is start writing and see if that main character starts to sort of crystallize as I'm writing. So that's what we're going to try. Okay, so I solved the narrator problem by just making the narrator me, essentially. A younger fictionalized version of me. This is the advantage of being older and having lived a varied and at sometimes debauched and or exciting and terrible life. I can use bits of that life to put them into characters, and I always think that it's easier to some extent, write about what you know. Now, that can be interpreted in lots of different ways, can't it? It doesn't mean necessarily just literally writing about your life, but little snippets of places, people, stories that you know. This is something that I always do in my writing. So that's how it's going. I have written about 664 words. So I'm going to take a 5-minute break and then come back, do some more. I think I'm only going to do an hour tonight because I also need to clean the house, unfortunately. But, you know, an hour is better than nothing. Oh, it's so cold. Okay, let's do another 25 minutes. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so I've finished for the night. I forgot to put my timer on for the... God, I'm so tired. Forgot to put my timer on for the second round, but I did probably about 45 minutes extra in the end. Kept going with the story. I'm not sure if I like it, but I think it's a good exercise in just keeping writing, even if you're not sure about it, even if you don't love it, because having something written down is always better than not having something written down. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I think I'm probably maybe 1/3 or half of the way through it. Like I said, this is going to be like a super short story, like couple of thousand words. I've already written about 1,500 words, but I will edit it down afterwards. But anyway, so that is it. I think I'm also kind of struggling because the story that I finished in my last session, I got like really into the story and the characters and the setting and everything, and I really felt like I was going back into that kind of little world when I was writing it. And I think because now this is a new story, it's a completely different like vibe anyway, and because I didn't feel like sure about exactly who I wanted the narrator to be, and because it's a short story, so there's not really as much opportunity to kind of get into the mood of it. But I guess that's the challenge of writing a short story, right, is that you have to set that mood and get on with things very quickly. So I think it will be a good challenge for me to keep working on this one. So yeah, that's everything for this evening. I am really tired, so I'm gonna try and have an early night. So thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.